for some kind of odd way out.
In a way, that's the way you really want to go, doing what you love doing. I mean, of course, being with the family and all that is important. But I had a friend in New York City, one of the WMCA good guys, Jack Spector, who was working on air one day, and he suffered a heart attack. And he pretty much died right there. He went unconscious, but he died doing what he loved doing. He was on the air. He was a rock jock. So, I mean, we all have to go, so we might as well be doing something we love, and that's what he loved.
Absolutely. I'm not exactly sure if I want to go out by rattlesnake or alligator, but I do love doing that. Maybe 95 years old, sitting back watching a good football game. That'd be a little better.
You think that's the way you want to go?
Yeah, my team scores a touchdown, yay, and then I pass. That'd be fine.
Oh, that would be great. On an up note, no matter what the score, 87-0, and they finally score with a minute to go. That's the way to go.
Well, my Panthers aren't doing so good this year, but I still watch them.
The cardiac cats are not doing so well. Okay, speaking of cats, nice segue. Thank you. You have some animals back there now. Nothing too exotic, but who you got back there? We won't be meeting them, but who you got?
Well, I've got a couple squirrels and a flying squirrel, and I have a couple cats that seem to be sick and need a place to go. So I'm gonna take them to the animal shelter.
Yeah. Squirrels. Did somebody call you on that, or did you just kind of walk around, move around, and say, let me grab that one?
No, this is basically what I do this time of year. And the fall, spring, squirrels are notorious for chewing and getting into people's homes, tearing up walls, chewing up wires. And probably within the last month, I've caught 150 squirrels. I would say probably at least 150. And that's most of the work that I'm sorry, my phone keeps ringing. That I do this time of year. Raccoons too, possums. I do occasional snake calls when it's warm like it is. Actually had an alligator call earlier today. So it's really weird, but this time of year I'm a lot slower than I am, say, from March all the way through October. November, December, January, I would like to make more money, but it's not fun work either. A lot of ladders, a lot of crawling underneath houses, a lot of stapling and nailing and, cleaning up poop, that kind of stuff. So
this would be a good day to chase ducks. You ever get duck calls?
All the time. I get duck, geese, swans. A lot of people have swans, and during mating season swans can be very aggressive. So I be the one who gets to go fight with a couple swans or geese. Now, some of the ducks in our area, such as mallards, they are protected, so there's really no legal course of getting rid of them other than harassment or certain types of repellents and stuff like noise repellents. But yeah, the Canucks, the Canadian geese, they're protected. The mallards are protected, but the white geese, the swans, I do a lot of that.
How do you harass a duck?
Well, fireworks work really well.
Fireworks?
Simply firecrackers. For example, if someone out there's having a problem that clean pools, and they have ducks pooping in their pool and they need a way to get rid of them, simply just get a couple lady fingers, the small little firecrackers, and toss them away from the ducks, and the ducks will leave. And after a couple times, they will not come back.
They won't come back. You kind of slipped something in there about a gator call today. What happened on the gator call?
Well, I get a lot of gator calls, and most of them pan out to be nothing, but people panic when they hear gator or they see gator. They think that the alligator is going to attack them. As you mentioned, the crocodile hunter, the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is a 1,000,000%. A crocodile is aggressive, will attack, will eat, will just do whatever he can to eat. An alligator, on the other hand, is docile, will not attack. There has been a couple of attacks here somewhat recently in South Carolina, but there's only been 2. Florida, there's a few here and there, but the gator call that I got today, someone saw it sunning on the bank yesterday, actually, and was concerned because it was close to a building. And I had to tell them that if you want it removed, there's a process. You have to get a tag, a permit, then you can call me and I can come remove that gator. But I always try to tell people, enjoy it. They're beautiful animals. Leave them alone. There's nothing to worry about. If you're worried about your dog is your responsibility. If you want to keep your dog from being eaten by a gator, keep him on a leash. To have a gator in your pond, in my opinion, is a beautiful, wonderful thing. But of course, it's very hard to tell that to people.
Okay, well, they've been told. I read on your website, I read about a half, maybe 3/4 of the story, but I said, I'm not going to read any further because I would spoil the ending for me as well. A rooster call. So what about this rooster call? I know some of it, but I said, oh, I'm going to stop right here.
Well, it's one of my most, I guess, would you call famously funny calls. I'll make it kind of short. I was sitting there.
No, we've got time.
Okay. I was sitting there with a friend of mine, and we were watching TV. This was in the afternoon, and I was pretty new at this. Just had been in the business for 2 years, maybe. I get this call, and this gentleman says, you know, this is going to sound strange, but I've got a rooster living in my attic. And I say, aha, yeah, your refrigerator's running, you got Prince Albert in the can, haha. He goes, no, I'm serious. And this was an elderly gentleman. He had to be in his 70s. And I said to him, oh, well, you know, I don't, and he goes, well, hold on a minute. And he put his wife on the phone, and she was much more convincing. She explained to me that she wasn't the only one that heard it. Her daughter had heard it over the phone. Neighbors have heard it. She sent somebody up in the attic, but it was a real tight attic, so they couldn't get up in there. But over a 7 or 8 day period, they were hearing this rooster crow. It was going off at the very same time every day, about noon. So I said, you know, yes, I'll come. And she goes, well, you got to get here at, you know, about 11:45 or so. And I said, sure, no problem. I get there about 11:30, 11:40. I walk around the house. I noticed that the garage door was open and the attic door was open, so whatever was in there could go ahead and leave. But this house was brand new. A tick couldn't get in this attic. It was so tight. So I sat there with them. We were talking. They were telling me where they were from. We were waiting for 12 o'clock to come. And during the conversation, all of a sudden, sure enough, here it was. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, they've got a rooster somewhere. So we all stand up, and he pointed right above his head. And as he did, I noticed his watch was flashing. And I said, sir, your watch is flashing. It's your watch. That's what you're hearing. And he looked at me, and he put his watch to his ear, and he said a cuss word. And the old lady, she said, what's going on? What's going on? So he put it up to her ear, and now she said some more words that were, you know, kind of funny. And what it was is they had bought some pillows. Or I think she said pillows. This has been several years ago, but as a free gift, since she bought it from TV, there was a rooster watch. And the rooster watch was already set to go off at 12 o'clock every day, the alarm was. So here it is, you know, for 8 days it was driving these people crazy. He would actually wash his hands and take the watch off and leave it in the kitchen, and he'd be in the other room, and they'd hear it, and they'd run to the kitchen. Whereas the rooster was in the kitchen, and it'd be the same way. They'd be in the den, and they'd hear it in the den, or they'd put it in the bedroom. The watch would be on the counter. They'd go in the run in the bedroom. It's over here. So about 7 or 8 days this went on until finally I came and solved their problem for them. And back then I charged $40, and I said, yeah, I'm sorry, I hate to charge you for this. And then they go, no problem, just don't tell anybody. I said, I'm going to tell everybody. As soon as I get out of here, I'm going to call my wife and tell her, and I'm going to call my mom and tell her. So it's gone on from there.
And now we all know the story. When I was reading the story on your website, I got to the house about 11:30. Yeah. And I said, here's where we're going to stop reading this now because we're going to get into it. So I really didn't want to enjoy I knew it was going to be something strange. So I said, I'm just going to wait and enjoy it with my listeners. Okay, you have a lot of stuff in here, and
yes,
you're just loaded with. Point out some of the highlights here in your
above your head, above your head, you want to be careful. There's what we call gator hooks. That's what we fish gators out with, out of a pond. We put that on the end of a big fishing rod, throw it out there, snag the gator, and drag him up. And then these metal hooks and these metal snares right here is what we use to actually snare the gator around the neck, pull them out, and then tie them up with some electrical tape around their mouth, and then of course throw them back in the back of the van and fish them out later. And this is a gator rope, of course. These are a pair of forceps which I have to reach in holes and pull stuff out with. I've got a very special pair of binoculars here. They're called a minocular, and what they do is they allow me to get very, very, very close to a hole that may be very, very far away. So I'm able to zero in and see what kind of animal has been doing the damage to that hole. I've got a really fancy laser pointer here. This actually helps me find other holes too. It's very, very bright, and I shine it, and if it disappears into a hole, then I know that's where the squirrel's coming and going from. Saves me from having to get the ladder off the truck, which I despise having to do. That ladder is, you know, during this time of year, I pull it off 7, 8, 10 times a day.
How does the laser with the squirrel? I mean, how do you know?
Well, what I do basically is I shine it along the edges or the eaves or the soffits, and if there's a hole where I can't see because of the shadow of the roof or the tree or whatever it may be, if that light continues, and then while it's on the wall, and then it disappears into a hole, then I know that's where the squirrels chewed a hole in. So basically, I can go from there, get the ladder out, and solve the problem. If there is a hole, sometimes there's different areas where squirrels can get in. That's the hardest part about doing squirrels, is getting the ladder off the truck and finding where they're coming and going from. I also have a pair of rabies gloves here. These are for grabbing animals with your hands, which I don't recommend anybody. I don't use them to catch venomous snakes with. I use tools to catch venomous snakes with, but I use those to catch raccoons that are injured with or sick, and they're actually Kevlar lined, so they're supposed to be able to stop a bullet. I don't think I'll ever shoot myself with it, to be sure, yeah. But I've had them for a very long time, and they have come in so handy. I use them mostly for catching squirrels that are running loose in people's houses, and I've never had a squirrel bite through it. I've had squirrels bite me to where they've almost broke my finger through it, because they can't penetrate it, but still there's the pressure of the bite. Also, I have several tongs, which we use to pull snakes out of, areas. This is the big one, the 72-inch one. This is for pulling snakes out of ponds. I can't tell you, there's a place down in the south end of golf course where in one day I removed 60 snakes, and these right here helped me catch most of those. I have short tongs. I have what we call gentle giant tongs for the rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes are thick-bodied snakes, so we have a flat end tong, so when you grab them, you don't hurt them. I like the snakes. I catch snakes and relocate snakes. I don't kill snakes like a lot of people do. So I'll use those particular tongs there, and just so I can gently handle the animal without having to use my hands.
Right. You also have a location that you go, is sort of like a conservation, or do you have something like that happen?
Yeah, well, I have several different places. Most of the snakes I let go, are basically way out in the woods, out in the Waccamaw River area, stuff like that. The thing is, I do catch a lot of venomous snakes. I like people to use the word venomous too, not poisonous. Poisonous is a totally different thing. Venom is what an animal injects into you. So, but the venomous snakes I usually catch, sometimes I'll give to people who sell to research centers and stuff like that. But for the most part, I release those too in places where I know there's not going to be any people.
Okay, what about coloration on venomous snakes? I mean, there are certain colors to be aware of?
Well, with venomous snakes, I tell people the best thing to do is treat a venomous snake as you would treat a non-venomous snake, and treat a non-venomous snake as you would a venomous snake. There's all kinds of colors, but I could tell you them, and tomorrow you're going to forget them. A venomous snake, the best way to tell a venomous snake is by the shape of their head. It basically looks just like an Indian arrowhead. Very fat jaws and a skinny neck. A lot of people like to say diamond. I don't see a diamond shape in that whatsoever. It seems like it's an Indian arrowhead. There is one snake that we have in the area called the coral snake. Now, the coral snake does have several different colors. Black, red and yellow, and then there's always the rhymes that come with you and all that kind of stuff about them. I don't want to say those because people forget them. The best way to tell them is also just by simply looking at their nose. The venomous coral snake has a black nose. The non-venomous scarlet snakes and scarlet king snakes have red noses. It's that simple. Black is dangerous, red is not.
So Rudolph is okay?
Yes, Rudolph's cool.
Okay, Rudolph's cool. Okay, I'm just checking my time right here. Right now we're at 28 minutes and 32 seconds. I didn't think, I said, let me see now. We're going to find 30 minutes to have fun with, and we're having fun with it. Give a phone number again and the website, and then we'll close on your, how you'd like to close.
Okay, my phone number again is 902-5706. Of course, that's 843 if you're down from these cell phones these days. Yeah. So 843-902-5706. And my website is thesnakechaser.com.
Anything to close with, Russell Cavender? Anything you want to, and here comes the rain on the roof.
Well, I would like for people to understand that wildlife has its place, and a lot of it is not in your home. And that's what I'm here to do. I want people to understand that, we can live with them. We're supposed to live with them. We should not destroy their habitat. We should take care of them. We do, according to the Bible, have dominion over the animals. That means we're supposed to protect them. And it's my responsibility and my job to do so. And that's what I'm here to do. I do not mind you calling me and asking me questions.
Okay. Russell Cavender, thank you very much for a very delightful Horry County Community Calendar today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. You've been listening to Horry County Community Calendar. We're right on just about 30 minutes. We're going to go. I'm your host and fellow Horry County and Herb Malsman. Join me here next week. 1458